It's so nice to bask in this love atmosphere of devotees. As you said, it can't be equaled. Everyone's experience is important. Prabhupada interacted with each of us like Krishna did with the gopis. And each one thought, yes, Krishna knows me especially because of my personality. Prabhupada would tweak our imagination for Krishna. And he always was merciful, like, where are the brahmacharis? Somebody might have had an agenda, but Prabhupada would either read your mind and change it for the better. So each time I come here, I meet new friends and old friends. And hear new stories of how Prabhupada just touched each of us. So much so that years and years later, we're still serving Krishna and serving each other. Prabhupada gave us this concept, das anudas, which could change the world, serving one another. We're used to it, but it's really a beautiful thing, service attitude. Recently, in New Vrindavan, there was another mother of the Krishna movement. We have another one today. Thank you. Sally Agarwal, who was married to an Indian gentleman in Butler, Pennsylvania, a small mining town. And the grandfather sent a note that a Swami is coming from India and please host him. And she didn't know what would happen. She said, as the days progressed, she grew more and more in love with the Swami. He was so humble and unassuming and friendly and charming. And then he cooked. And he had this strange invention that he could cook everything in one tiffin, layer upon layer. And then when he cooked, it was so good that she asked, could you please cook all the time? Yes. And he did. And that wonderful picture of the Swami with her son Bridge, if you notice all the photos of the Swami with the children, he just brightens up. They're the future, and they're innocent. They're the tabla rasa. They're a blank slate. They don't have bad habits yet. And he just embraces them. And then as they grow older, like Saraswati, he would tease them. Teasing by the Swami was really a nice thing. So she said that she was afraid when she saw the Swami leaving for New York. And I have this experience myself. When you travel, you have very little clothes and everything, but a lot of books. So he had a trunk full of books. But she was afraid. She said she was afraid that when he would go to New York, New York, another planet in itself, as you know, would just, he's too innocent. He's just from India, with his pointy Bengali gold shoes. Thank you very much. Prabhupada's chatter. So she was actually afraid for him. And then she said, and we were in New Vrindavan Palatial Temple, Vrindavan Chandra, and the palace up the road. And she said, well, I guess he did all right. Wow. So he did all right. Wow. Because we're the manifestation. In one sense, all we have is each other. We have to continue serving and helping. And Prabhupada gave so many lessons. In India, I was sitting in the temple. Now, anybody who's a seasoned devotee, especially in India, you know you put one shoe on one side of the temple and one shoe on the other, because monkeys or people don't steal one shoe. So I had that. And then Prabhupada comes walking by, and it's in Vishakhapatnam where Anand Prabhu came. And I'm sitting in the temple chanting this, Prabhupada. I run after him, and it's barnacles and shells, and he's gliding like Yudhisthira's chariot, not even touching the ground. And I'm going, where are your shoes? After all these years, I became like artificial, new age, whatever. When I'm with you, Prabhupada, I don't feel any pain. He looked like he ate a macrobiotic prune. He went. Then he laughed. Then why don't you cut your throat? But teasingly, because some devotees would say, Swamiji wants me to, I knew what he was getting at. He said, there's enough tapasya in the world, so do not give us more tapasya. Don't put any more tapasya on yourself unnecessarily. Because some devotees do that. They unnecessarily put guilt on themselves when they're sincerely trying. The standard is high. So if the standard is high, and Prabhupada's standard was the example, so yes, it's a challenge, but we shouldn't judge. We should help one another. So there's enough tapasya. And so many examples. And like I said, it seemed like Prabhupada's feet didn't touch the ground. This is a famous story in John Lennon's estate. There was a worm going towards Prabhupada's feet, and we were all like in a V. Prabhupada had Wellington boots on. We had sneakers with holes in it. It was a wet morning. Oh, the worm's going towards Prabhupada's feet. It's a living entity, but wait a minute. It'll be liberated like falling under the wheels of the Jagannath cart. And then Star Trek Prime Directive came in, Maya, get out. No, Prabhupada said it's all right, it's a purification process. When stuff like that happens and you don't understand it and then it leaves, it's a purification process. The worm hit Prabhupada's feet. And then the worm went on Prabhupada's feet. And I looked, there was no indentation. There's a time limit? Okay. So, this is the wonderful thing. Prabhupada is with us in all these challenges, like in Vrindavan temple. Shyamasundar knows how to build better than me. Krishna will help you. You've seen it through the years. Krishna will help us all. We take one step towards Krishna. And as Swarup said, I'm so glad he talked finally in public, where he said, that was then and this is now, because we have to find the common ground with people. Prabhupada's preaching lesson was he listened. I mean, I've got so many stories about everything, but the bucket manufacturer was boring, and Prabhupada was listening, and then he changed the conversation when he was talking about riveting to riveting with Krishna. And that's the point. And do I have time for one last beautiful story? Pakistani-Indian War, Delhi. Everybody was blacking out the windows at night. I was afraid that they would try to bomb Delhi and it would hit Vrindavan instead. They were so incompetent. They never even got near Delhi. But at any rate, everybody was coming in. The committee came in. Swamiji, why aren't you blocking out your windows? He said, you cannot be the controller. You cannot control your stomach ache, your toothache. But the bombs. What if the bomb should come? And I was standing up because Prabhupada and I had this like teamwork where guests would come. I'd make sure they'd have water and prasadam and everything like that. So I was standing up, and they said, what if the bomb should come? And Prabhupada said, then I would see the bomb as Krishna. Hare Krishna. Do I have a little... Big Chaitra Guru. Krishna told me, call Madhavisa. I called him that night. He left the planet. We had a 20-minute conversation. He couldn't talk anymore. Beautiful conversation. Sannyasi for 1 week, not wanting to associate with women. Prabhupada sends him to Jaipur to oversee the deities for years, Krishna Balaram, with Jamuna alone. He said the rickshaw was small and she was big, and I couldn't help rubbing up. His voice couldn't help rubbing up against her. But after 2 days, gender didn't matter because of her devotion. She said, if you live it, you can give it. That's her definition of bhakti. So let's all live it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guru Das Prabhu. Ki Jai, Hari Hari.